Hi, everyone. 2.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. My diagnosis came 3 months after the greatest soccer season I've ever been a part of, one in which my team and I broke many records, went to the conference final, one in which I received many awards, including Conference Player of the Month, All Conference Honors, All Region Honors, Conference Player of the Year, and Elon's Female Athlete of the Year. I was on my way to follow my dreams of going to PT school after graduation, had amazing friends around me, and the most loving and supportive boyfriend. I felt like I had it all. After a rigorous J term with the soccer team, comprised of fitness, lifting, and more fitness, I started to feel a pinch on the side of my ribs. Nothing I thought I should be worried about, but it was bothering me, so I went to Alyssa, our team athletic trainer. She checked me out and told me just to be safe to see our team physician, Dr. Patel. My appointment was on the following Monday, February 17th, 2014, a date I will never forget. After morning classes, I went to see Dr. Patel, who sent me to get a chest x-ray to make sure I didn't have a fractured rib. Later that afternoon, I was summoned to get a CAT scan, but I fought back because I had a class at 5 o'clock that I couldn't miss. I would be missing a class 3 times later on in the semester for soccer and just wanted to do the scan the following day. Alyssa wouldn't have it, so after a long debate, I gave in and got the scan. Around 7 p.m. that same day, Alyssa received a phone call from Dr. Patel. I sat in Alyssa's office with Dr. Patel on speakerphone, listening to her describe what my scan showed. I remember hearing, "Nicole, you have a baseball-sized mass in your right chest wall. I have made an appointment for you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with a thoracic oncologist." I immediately withdrew from classes at Elon and returned home for treatment at Fox Chase Cancer Center in Philly. My treatment started as soon as possible and was comprised of inpatient chemotherapy every 2 weeks. Throughout all of my treatment, I stayed up to date with all of my classes by taking online classes through Elon and a local community college. I started chemo on March 8th, 2014, had a huge surgery on June 4th, and now have 2 titanium ribs, and finished all of my chemo cycles on December 6th. That day was arguably the happiest day of my life. I was surrounded by my mom, my brother, and a couple of my best friends, and rang the bell to signify the end of treatment. Little did I know my cancer would return just a couple weeks later. I finally returned to Elon for the spring of my junior year, 2 months after I finished chemo. I was so happy to be back with all of my friends and working out with the soccer team to get ready for my senior season in the fall. However, 2 weeks into the spring semester, something didn't feel right, and I went and got a scan, which showed a mass in the pleura of my right lung, along with 7 very tiny ones. I called my oncologist at Fox Chase, who suggested yet another chemo regimen. This time, I was allowed to stay at Elon and continue classes because the treatments were outpatient. So it began again. 5 days in a row, Monday through Friday, I would go to Alamance Cancer Center and get 2 hours of chemo after class, or in between classes, for the whole spring semester. When I returned home for the summer, I underwent a stem cell transplant with high-dosage chemotherapy to try for a cure. I was not allowed to return to Elon for the fall of my senior year, but instead was taking constant trips to the hospital for checkups and scans to keep an eye on my disease. I continued with my schoolwork online and was still on track to graduate. For 4 months after the transplant, my tumor was shrinking and looking great. However, in December it began to grow again and spread into my lymph nodes. I was then put on yet another chemo regimen, week-long inpatient hospital stays yet again. For another 4 months, this chemo was showing great results, and then my disease started to grow again. This is where I am now in my journey. I am currently going to start a clinical trial and keep doing what I have been this whole time, fighting and living my life how I want to, despite what has been thrown my way. One of the hardest things I went through because of cancer was losing my hair. Before my diagnosis, I would freak out if I got an inch cut off of my hair. I used to have long blonde hair almost down to my butt. I loved doing my hair. I even used to say that my hair was my security. It was inevitable that I would lose my hair with my chemo I was on, and I knew that. So to make the process easier, I first cut my hair to my shoulders. I cried a lot. Then after my second chemo treatment, my hair started to fall out. First it was just a little bit, and I noticed it on my pillow. Then I would try to brush my hair, and it fell out even more. So I decided to shave my head before it got bad. Losing my hair was not only hard because I loved my hair, but without my hair, I didn't feel like myself anymore. I didn't feel pretty anymore, and I was scared to see my boyfriend for the first time. I remember laying in bed the night after I shaved my head and calling him. I said, "Alex, it's gone, all of it." I was embarrassed for him. I questioned how he would feel when he had to go places with me. I didn't want him to have a girlfriend that didn't have hair. All of my fears were instantly gone by his reaction. He said, "Colie, you were beautiful when I first met you, and you will always be beautiful to me. I don't love you for your hair." Battling cancer has been the hardest battle of my life. But with this battle has come some of the most important lessons I will learn in my life. Love. Love is the most powerful thing on this earth, and I love love. Be surrounded by love. Alex has been the most loving boyfriend through all of this, always there to be a shoulder to cry on, to make me laugh, or remind me that I'm beautiful every day. My mom has been my hero through my battle and has been with me at every appointment, treatment, and has stayed with me at the hospital every overnight stay I had. My coach has been a constant support system and has been there to help with everything. My best friends, Katie and Mel, despite being far away, have been the greatest friends to me and have never left my side. When other friends disappeared when times got rough, these two did the complete opposite and were there for me through everything. The amount of love these people bring to my life every day is amazing. What really matters in life? While losing my hair was one of the hardest things I had to go through, it means nothing. Hair means nothing. What means something are the friendships I have in my life. What means something is impacting people every day. Remember that you never know what one interaction with a person will mean to them. Remember that you can change someone's day by just a smile or a wave. Also remember to laugh at yourself. While losing my hair was very hard, it also showed me how incredibly small my head is. It also allowed me to not have to shave my legs for the past 2 years. Allows me to save money on shampoo. And I can pick if I want to be a blonde or a brunette with the help of my wigs. Everyone has struggles in their life. One of the most important things I have learned from my battle with cancer is how you respond to those hard times. Because it's not the struggles that define you, it's how you respond and react to those struggles that define your character, determination, and worth. I could have given up at the first mention of cancer, or when I couldn't lift my arm after surgery, or when my cancer came back, or when my cancer started growing again, or when my doctor told me that my disease is incurable, but that's not me. I believe and I know that I am stronger than this disease, and I will continue to do what I want and put my mind to each and every day. I will graduate with the rest of the class of 2016 in May. I will continue my love for the game of soccer by coaching my U12 girls team, and I'll continue to work towards my goal of PT school. Everything happens for a reason. When you are faced with a hardship in life, the easy thing to do is to feel sorry for yourself and complain and ask, why me? But that will never change the situation. I believe I was meant for this journey. I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, and I was born and raised in Ewing, New Jersey. The chromosome mutation for Ewing's happens on chromosome number 22. My jersey number for Elon was 22. This may be a coincidence, but I believe it is a sign that I was meant for this, and I can only hope that my story can bring inspiration to other people fighting battles of their own. I ask that you find joy in the journey that you have or are currently going through. Throughout my journey that has been sad, depressing, and upsetting, there's always joy and happiness to be seen each and every day. I'm grateful for the loving family I have a university that has provided me with amazing education, and friends that have supported me through this all. Thank you.